Junior Pro Kart then are now getting ready to go. And it will be, of course, Max Shields having taken 3 race victories, going off pole position. Christian Oblag, his nearest championship challenger, will start alongside Thomas Wilkins and Harry Brown on the second row, with Amy Frame and Harrison Johns on row 3. Once again, Shields and Oblag going at it off the front row. Watch for Amy Frame, though. She's not had the day she'd hoped for with a couple of spins. She'll be trying to come through from 5th place, I am sure, to try and snatch a podium right at the death here at GYG. So after this Junior Pro Kart final, next one up after that is Minimax, then it's Micromax. And then I think we'll have our Junior Rotax final, although that grid hasn't been set just yet because we only just saw their heat out around about 15 minutes ago. So the grid not completed just yet for that one. That'll be race 21. Before then we have our Honda Cadet A final for race 22 and final of the day. Everybody into position. Shields on the left, Oblag on the right. Engine notes rise in these Honda engines, and they bounce in the seat to try and get away, and Oblag slots straight across on the 67 of Wilkins, as Frame then runs into the back of Wilkins ever so slightly. Probably not enough that that's going to cause her a front fairing issue, as it was a fairly gentle tap at a fairly gentle pace. 12 minutes plus 1 lap then for all of our main finals. I'm sure it was up to 10 minutes for the B, as opposed to the 8 minutes plus 1 lap for the heat. So we're up to 12 for each of our 5 remaining finals. And it is Max Shields who is leading away with Christian Oblag in 2nd place. Then it's going to be a very, very intense battle then between Wilkins, Brown, Frame and Johns for that final step on the podium. Johns, who retired from heat number 3, having been involved in that opening lap incident that also involved Wilkins, Frame and himself. The tyre ripped from the bead, which meant that he was unable to take any further part. And at the moment, he has managed to find a way past Amy Frame. So we're pretty much split into 2 groups of 2, although it looks like Frame has managed to find a way back past that Spoon, and she is back into 5th place. So she only briefly lost that position. Shields then leading the way from Oblag, with Thomas Wilkins currently in 3rd place, with Harry Brown right in the wheel tracks of the 67 in 4th place as they made their way down the hill here at Glanyagors. Earlier on, the track that was initially just the first part here, and then it turns right. It was a small track designed for private use, eventually extended in the early 2000s to accommodate larger karts and larger karting, and also now has higher karts as well as the travelling owner series as well. The paddock coming along nicely as well, with some tarmac added to it, so the circuit that's really coming along nicely. Hearing rumours as well later on of a potential extension even further of this wonderful track, as we see making their way down the hill here with Thomas Wilkins and Harry Brown battling out for the final step on the podium. Shields fairly comfortable at the front, Oblag in 2nd place. Now Brown tucking in behind Thomas Wilkins. Amy Frame starting to break away from Harrison Johns in 5th place. Only 1.2 seconds off the back of this battle between Wilkins and Brown. Brown tries to get to the inside of Wilkins, a little bump and run. Didn't work for him down the inside there. Loses a kart length or 2. Off the back of Wilkins. So at the front though, Shields opening up a gap to 1.1 seconds. And those behind. Oblang now it's 1.7, so Max Shields, the gap out by another 0.6 of a second on that lap. Thomas Wilkins in third place, having to go defensive as Harry Brown looking very, very interested in third place. And Wilkins goes wide and Brown bounces over the curbs and takes full advantage, and Harry Brown is up into third place and onto the final step of the podium as it stands. We're still in the first third of this race, but Harry Brown is now in front of Thomas Wilkins up into third. Wilkins in fourth and Amy Frame right behind now, looking very, very interested in getting involved in this podium battle. Harrison John sticking with as well there, the driver in the number 10. Remember, retired from the third heat. Can Harry Brown break away from Thomas Wilkins in the final here at GYG? Run up the hill they go. Brown into the right-hander. This is where he got through on the previous lap with Wilkins going wide. This time Brown manages to get it stopped. Not opens the door back up to Wilkins, and Wilkins is through behind Brown. Amy Frame then closing in. The gap 0.4 off the, let's say 0.7 off the back of Wilkins last time. She's closing in on the back of the 67. Expect a personal best this time for me for Amy Frame if she comes over using the slipstream to close in, although Wilkins gets one, so does Oblang. Frame not so much so must have been putting in some monster laps early on to close in, because there she goes down the inside of Thomas Wilkins at the top of the hill, over the crest and into fourth place. So Amy Frame with a good move, good run round that first corner, got in the slipstream, used the power up the straight and was through before the heavy braking zone as they come over the crest, and is now closing in on Harry Brown. The final step of the podium at stake between Brown, Wilkins, Frame and Johns. Just under 2 seconds between them as Max Shields with a 47.211 puts in the fastest lap of the race. Information that Frame moves up into third. Harry Brown gets his head down behind the steering wheel. That won't take much, because with him being the youngest driver in the class, it is he's also the smallest driver in terms of height in the class, as Amy Frame tries to get alongside him, and there's a little bit of rubbing between the two of them. Harry Brown though survives and will hold on to third place. What this is going to do though is back them up into Harrison Johns and Thomas Wilkins. If they keep battling, they're losing around about 3/4 of a second a lap on Christian Oblag in front, because now they're having to chop and change and defend and attack into each corner. We're down beyond half race distance. You see there as they bounce over that curve, just the front end, just the vibrations that they get in there as Oblang puts in a personal best of 47.588. It's still 0.3 slower than that of our race leader Max Shields, who once again opens the gap out by another few tenths. Amy Frame once again tries to get down the inside of Harry Brown, late on the brakes into the spoon corner, and there's more contact between the two of them. If that carries on any further, that could tip one or both of them into a spin. It doesn't take much as the karts go light over the top of that hill, but at the moment Harry Brown holding firm in third place, with Frame in fourth as Brown opens up a bit of a gap in this downhill section, which I expect that Frame will close back up in a few moments as they make their way round this first corner and up the hill. Frame seems to have a lot of straight line speed in that number 14 kart. Can she get close enough to Harry Brown at the top of the hill? This is the corner she's been trying to get through on the previous few laps. This time not quite close enough. This time to get anywhere near the back of Brown. Everybody from our Honda Cadet B final is through clear, so the top 10 in that one will move on into the A final at the end of the day. Brown sweeping round the outside, a much wider line down the hill from Harry Brown on entry to than Amy Frame, and then gets a little bit crossed up in the final part of that, and that's going to allow Frame to close in once again on the back of Harry Brown. 3 minutes and 48 remaining. The top two 5 seconds between them. Then there's another 5 seconds back to this battle for the final step on the podium. The top two, unless they have any problems, look to be set in stone. Brown with a quick helmet tap. I'm not sure that's going to work in the final few laps of a final, but we'll see. I think he wants to just try and move away, as they have done actually from Thomas Wilkins. So despite the fact that they have been battling, and the last time that they came over the line there was only 4 tenths between them, but Frame has closed up again once again on the back of Harry Brown. Wilkins seems to have dropped away by around about a second or so off the back of this. That will confirm the timing as Brown gets a personal best of 47.8 for him. It is almost to the 1,000th a second that Wilkins has dropped off the back of Frame, as the sun, as it did yesterday evening at around about 3:30, begins to bake the Glanyagore circuit here in North Wales. The top three as it stands: Shields, Oblang and Brown, but Frame is still within touching distance of the podium here at GYG. Brown takes some curb again, but then uses that corner to sweep round the outside and then sets off down this hill. Wider once again through the dog leg, through the Devil's Elbow corner than what he has been every other lap. And that once again allows Frame to close right in, and she tucks her head down behind the steering wheel, trying to minimise the amount of air hitting the helmet, maximising the air out, and she tries a dive down the inside of Brown into the spoon corner at the top. Under 2 minutes now in this Junior Pro Kart final. Shields leads by 6 seconds as Brown goes wide. Another look over the shoulder. The nerves now setting in for Harry Brown in 3rd place as Amy Frame tries once again to put the nose down the inside of Harry Brown. Brown closing the door, heading towards the final few laps in the first main final of the day, and Brown opens up a small gap as they come over start finish. Frame, can she get close enough on this run up the hill? We know she likes a little nibble into spoon corner. Here she is once again into the back of Harry Brown. Brown lives to fight another corner, but Frame is close enough down the hill to make a move into the carousel. Brown all the way round the outside. Can he keep his foot in on Amy Frame? He's going to have to be brave, and Amy Frame is through with 1 minute remaining and moves up into 3rd place. Anything here now that Harry Brown can do as they come down the hill. He's much tidier now. He's got a kart in front of him and to follow some lines than what he has been down there. Might even get 3 laps, because Max Shields is 13 seconds up the road in front of this battle, where we crossed the line at 40 seconds. So he should be making his way round the track. Could potentially cross the line in enough time in this one, but we're going to get 2.5 more laps in as they head back up the hill. Yeah, Shields will be through around about now. I think look at the top corner for that to change to 15 it is, and he's got 6 seconds, so it's comfortable. 2 more laps then in Junior Pro Kart for Harry Brown and Amy Frame to argue over the final step on the podium. Frame having come through from a grid position of 5, dropping down into 6th place at the start, and now moving up into 3rd place with the move on Harry Brown, which started at the top of the spoon into this corner with a little bit of a bump and run, and then managed to dive down the inside into the carousel. This double apex left. Brown held on valiantly to try and get the run, but then couldn't get it back up this hill into the right-hander at the top. And Frame was able to move through. Last lap then here, as Max Shields is already over start finish and making his way up the Dragon Straight towards the spoon corner at the top. Oblag sets a personal best, but despite the points being incredibly tight between the two of them in the championship, it's been night and day between Maximus Shields and the rest of the Junior Pro Kart field here today at GYG. He's got half a lap to hold on and just bring this kart home. He could probably turn the engines off and coast it down the hill here in North Wales. But Max Shields will cement his position at the top of the Junior Pro Kart Championship, round the final corner, and finishes a perfect weekend with another victory in Junior Pro Kart. 4 races, 4 wins for Shields. Oblang will then come over the line for second place, and then it's going to be between Frame and Brown. Who's coming into shot? Amy Frame from the back. Brown goes wide onto the grass, holds on, and finishes in 4th place with a sideways slide, drifting it over the grass to take 4th in front of Wilkins and Harrison Johns to complete your Pro Kart class.